Hey, what's up, guys? Welcome to day 4, sales tax and tip. And in this lesson today, we're going to learn how to calculate the sales tax and the tip and how to figure out the final price after those things. And so let's start by talking about what sales tax is. Sales tax is added on to the mark price of an item at the point of sale. And so when you go shopping, there is a price listed for the item, and when you take that item to the cash register, you end up spending more than what that listed price was, and that is because there's a sales tax. And so we have to pay taxes, and the government uses those taxes for various services. All right, so that is what is added on. And then let's talk about tips. Tipping is something that does not happen everywhere in the world. I thought this was a really cool sort of chart. It shows kind of a map of the world, and it shows that there are places that do not tip at all, like China, like Japan, like Brazil. And then there's also places where, tipping has different, percents that people recommend. So in the U.S., we like to say, it's good to tip maybe between 15 to 20%. And then in Italy is, an average of about 10%. That's sort of a gesture. But what are tips? Well, tips are the money that you give to the person who provides some type of service, just to say thank you for your service, and that you show kind of appreciation for what they do. I know 2 teachers that are very grateful for tips. Shout out to Mr. Eden. He's a barber, and I know he, relies on and really appreciates when people tip him when he does a good job cutting their hair. And I also know Miss Clock. Shout out to Miss Clock. She and her family own Fellini's Pizza. Shout out to Fellini's if you've not been there. This is, not a paid commercial, but I encourage you to go check it out. It's off of Cali. The pizza there is incredible. But many times Miss Clock also, she works as a waitress, and she, relies on people giving her tips to say thank you for the service, the excellent service that she provides. So with that said, tips are money that is added to the end of a bill to just say, hey, thank you for the service. All right. And so with that said, we're going to talk about the steps to find sales tax and tip. And friends, it is exactly like the steps to find discounts and markups, right? And so from what we learned in the previous lesson. So what we're going to do, these are the steps to keep in mind. We're going to multiply. Okay. Multiply the percent of the sales tax by the original item. So we're taking whatever the percent is of the sales tax or the tip, and we are going to multiply it times the price. Let's say original price. By the original price. All right. And so that is going to give us, gives us the amount of the sales tax or the amount of the tip. Okay. Now, sometimes we're going to just be able to stop right there. Once we multiply the percent times the price, that will give us the sales tax, or that will give us the tip. And if that's all the question is asking for, then we can stop right there. But sometimes it will ask us for the total price. And if it asks us for the total, then we need to add it to the original price. Okay, so then we need to take what we got here, all right, and then add it back to the original cost. And we're gonna see that here in just a minute. All right, I also want to remind you really quickly that all of these problems, when we're looking at sales tax and tip, all of them are word problems. There are different scenarios where you are computing sales tax and tips. And so this word problem strategy, Cubs, is super important. So I want to remind you, we got to circle the numbers. We want to underline the question. We want to box the keywords. And then we want to solve the problem. And when we solve the problem, we want to make sure that we are looking for what the question is asking. All right. So with that said, we got 5 examples here. So let's take a look at the first one. It says Marcus and Carter went to the convenience store after school. The subtotal for their items was $15.37. If the sales tax was 5.5%, will they have enough money for their items if they have $20? Okay, so the question is, will they have enough money if they have $20? All right, so I got to figure out, okay, how much was it, after the sales tax? Well, again, sales tax, I'm going to box that because that's important. All right. So let's answer this question. Well, I need to figure out what is 5.5%. Okay. I'm figuring out the sales tax of $15.37. Okay. And so what I'm going to do is I'm going to put that into Desmos, and that's going to tell me, so 5.5% of the $15.37, okay? And that tells me how much the sales tax was, okay? So when I do this, I get this decimal that has, that has 5 places, okay? I like to just round at the very end. If you want to go ahead and round that right now, that is totally fine. Okay, because money only has 2 decimal places, so we can go ahead and round that to the second decimal place. Well, the rounding rules, if it's 5 or more, you're going to add 1 more. If it's 4 less, we give it a rest. So we're going to say this rounds up to 85 cents. Okay, sometimes, again, you don't have to round it here. You can round it at the end. What I will tell you is it doesn't matter if you round it here or round it at the end. You're going to get close enough to the answer, and you will be able to pick what is the correct answer if you had answer choices. All right, so we found that is 85 cents. Okay, and so now I need to figure out, okay, I'm going to take this 85 cents and I am going to add it to the $15.37 cents, so that I can see how much it is going to cost after the sales tax. So I'm taking $15.37 plus the 85 cents, okay, and that is going to give me the cost of the item after the sales tax. So we got $15.37 plus 85 cents, and that gives me $16.22. And so my question then asks us, will they have enough money? Okay, and the answer is yes. If they have $20, they do have enough to pay for $16.25. So the answer is yes, they have enough. Now, I've run out of space, but you might want to include yes, they have enough money. All right, let's look at the next one. The cost of Aaliyah and Dolores' dinner was $18.75. If they want to leave a 20% tip, what is the total price? Okay, so the tip is a key word. The question is, what is the total price of their dinner? Okay, well, I have to figure out the price of the tip. And so to do that, I'm doing 20% of, I got to figure out what's 20% of the price, which is $18.75. And so then I'm going to come over here. 20% of $18.75. That gives me $3.75. Okay. And so sometimes a student might think, all right, I got the answer, $3.75. But I want to make sure we understand the $3.75, that is the amount for the tip. Okay. So if the question asks, what's the tip, then that would be your answer. But because this is asking for the total price, okay, because that's asking for the total price, then I have to go back and add it. All right. So I'm going to take what the price was originally. It was $18.75. Then I'm going to add the $3.75, and that's going to give me my total. Okay, so $18.75 plus $3.75, and that's going to give me my total, which is $22. And now it's 0.5. Remember, money has 2 decimal places, so it is $22.50. All right. Now, I'm going to do one more, and then I'm going to let you do the last two on your own, okay? So, at Chick-fil-A, you ordered a salad for $7.50 and a chicken sandwich for $9.50. The sales tax was 6%. What is the total of your bill, including the sales tax? So, again, we got 6% sales tax there. We also are looking for the total. The total is key, all right? So, first I need to figure out, okay, how much did my meal cost altogether? Well, salad was $7.50, sandwich was $9.50, so I got to add those two together. $7.50 plus the $9.50. All right, so $7.50 plus $9.50. All right, that gives me $17. All right, and then now I got to figure out the sales tax. Well, the sales tax was 6% of the amount that I had to pay, which is the $17. So it's 6% of the $17. Okay. And that is going to tell me how much the sales. Okay, so 6% of $17. Okay, and that is $1.02. Okay, so $1.02 is how much the tax is. So how do I figure out how much was the total bill? Well, if you guessed, again, this is how much the sales tax was. This was the original price, so I have to go back and add 17 plus the $1.02. I'm not going to do that in a calculator. That'll give me $18.02 as my answer. All right, let's see what we got. So Mr. Redmond took his son out to eat for his birthday. The total cost of the meal was $40, and with a sales tax of 7.5%. How much sales tax was for the meal? So this time we're just looking at how much was the sales tax. Well, again, this was the cost. So what we're going to do is we're going to take the 7.5%, and we're figuring out how much of that, okay, was of what percentage of that of 40 is 7.5%. Okay, so 7.5%, 40, and that is $3. Okay, and so that is the answer here, because it's just asking me for the sales. For the sales tax. It's not asking me for the total cost after the sales tax. All right. And then lastly, Amari and his family went out to dinner to celebrate his birthday. They ordered appetizer for $15.99. The entrees total $77, and the 4 drinks were $2.50 each. Again, but they bought 4 drinks. Okay. What will their total bill be with 11% sales tax? All right. So first thing I need to do is I need to figure out, okay, how much did all of those items cost? Well, okay, I got $15.99. Okay, for appetizers, $77 for the entrees, and then I got 4 drinks that cost $2.50 each. So I could do $2.50 plus $2.50 plus $2.50, right? Plus $2.50, or I could have just did $2.50 times 3, okay? But the total for each of those was $102.99, okay? So now I got to do 11% of 102.99, okay? So 11% of 102.99, that gives me $11.33. Okay, so that is the sales tax. Well, then I also got to figure out, okay, well, this is just the tax. Now I got to add that to the 102 to get the total, okay? To get the total. So I gotta do 199 plus 1133, okay? So let's do that. So we got 102.99 plus 1133, and that is gonna give me 114.32. Okay, so this right here is the answer for B. I'm sorry, for A. All right. Now I have run out of space here, so I'll slide this one over to give you the answer for B. All right. So for B, all right, I have to. It says what will their total bill be? Okay, if they leave a 20% tip. So now that's how much it costs. So now I gotta do 114, or I'm sorry, actually I gotta do 20% of 114.32. Okay, so 114.32, 20% of 114.32. That's gonna give me $22.87. Okay. And so now to figure out how much after the tip, I gotta also add that. So there's a lot of steps here, friends. I'm not gonna lie, but you can do it. All you gotta do is just, again, we're continuing to just do the same steps, but we're having to do it a couple different times. All right. So then we got 114.32 plus $22.87, and that gives us 137.19. Okay, so this is our answer for B. Okay, so B is $137.19. Okay, so this is B. This is A. All right, so hopefully you got all of that. Obviously, we're going to do some more practice with this. Again, the key in all of these problems is reading the problem, making sure you understand exactly what's being asked, and then just breaking it down. All right. And so in this lesson, we've learned how to calculate sales tax and tip. Hey, next time you go out to eat, make sure you tip your waiter or waitress real good.